Ellen McCauley. I'm at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. I'd like to direct everyone to the back of the food log because I believe that there should be no wasted space, so let's have something on there. I do a lot of research on what it takes to be successful, and this was written, the 3 keys that if you develop them, you will be successful. This sounds very familiar. Track and log your food intake. I am a firm believer in the power of the log. And even those times that I've put on a couple pounds, my goodness, what I would have done if I didn't have the log. If I threw all abandon to the wind. I have never not kept a log since January of 2008. Every week for 13 years. I've never stopped. I'm addicted to it, and I enjoy it. I'm known to go out to dinner with my husband, pull out my log, and write it down. I am the queen of logging. A lot of you are princesses. A couple kings, even. A couple kings. Learn to cook. Seriously, learn to cook. Now, Pat said something about commercials in food. I don't watch anything live. Even the Buffalo Bills game, I taped an hour. We didn't watch any media, no social media. Did something else, and we started it an hour behind just so I didn't have to watch the commercials. By the time we got there, we were live. By the time we got to the 13 seconds. But I do not care for commercials. You're right, there's Dunkin' Donuts, there's Michelob Ultra, there's beer, there's food. Not so much cooking. You know, the thing about cooking is, I go to the nail studio on Saturdays, every 6 weeks or so. I'm supposed to go every 3 weeks, but I eke it out. But anyway, they've always got this cooking channel on there, and I'm like ogling it because they're making the most interesting things. Here's the problem with being in a healthy journey for life. If you do not mix it up and try different things, you will be eating pizza and wings, etc. Now, last week, Kathy gave me a golden kiwi, and I've never had one. And I looked at it, and I said, I don't think I'm going to eat this. But then Kathy gave it to me, and then she's going to wonder if I liked it. And then what? Am I supposed to lie? Am I supposed to say it was good? I'm going to have to eat it. She gave it to me. I have to say something to her. So I ate it. And guess what? Fantastic. It's on my this week's shopping list, and I'm going to talk about it one of these meetings about the benefits of it. Golden kiwi, green kiwi, whatever. There's millions of things out there that we are not cooking and trying. And you might say, I don't have time to cook. Well, we'll talk about time as we go on as well. And then here's the bottom line, patience. All we need is just a little patience. Lifelong journey. I started January 1. I was on fire for session 27. I said, I'm going to ride that bike. I'm going to work so hard. I am going to be a hero. I'm going to get to my goal. I'm just going to be on fire. I rode way over 100 miles on that bike. I did an average of 14,000 steps a day. I never had a snack. I had no dairy, no gluten, no sugar. I worked hard. I feel great. I lost 2 pounds the whole month. This week, I did all this high-intensity interval training, lost nothing. And does that mean I'm going to say, okay, this is the last meeting of Pray It Off, I'm disbanding the group? Or am I going to say, I feel better. If I lose 2 pounds a month, by the time we get to June, at least I'll get my 10-pound award, because guess what? I didn't get it last session. I didn't get my 10-pound award. So, is it so bad? We need to be patient. One other person besides me had a similar hissy fit about their weight today because they worked really hard. But patience. We have to be patient. Now, we talked on meeting 1 about these C's, and I want to reiterate because I'm the queen of reiteration. We talked about confidence, trusting yourself, and trusting God. God. We talked about commitment with the drive and the grace, that supernatural kick in the pants. And I ask for it all the time. Lord, I need that supernatural kick in the pants. And last week we talked about concentrating and prioritizing. And this week we're going to talk about control. And you might wonder, what do you mean by control? And the control that this C means is controlling our emotions, learning how to be cool, calm, and collective. And guess what? A lot of people have said a lot of things about me over the years, but never has anyone said, oh, you know, Ellen McCauley, she's so cool, calm, and collected. They don't say that about me. I don't say it about myself. I am mostly, you know, freaking out about things just about on a daily basis. But I'm so much better. I'm better. I think menopause had a lot to do with that. Those hormones kicked me in the butt, and it wasn't grace, it was bad. But I think when I hear just about 20 times every Thursday that you're under stress, how do we remain cool? How are our out of control emotions affecting our weight? Emotional eating is real, and it affects our waistline, and we do go for those comfort foods. I don't know about you, but when I think of comfort foods, I do not think of broccoli and cauliflower. I don't know anyone who does. I don't know anyone who said, oh my gosh, I was so worried I had to make Brussels sprouts and just eat them and eat them and eat them. No one says that. No one. And that's because I think God created these veggies. They're good. They taste good. But there's something about that salt. There's something about that sugar. There's something. And the thing is, momentarily, you get that spike and, oh yeah, feels good, feels good. And then you hit that pit. Not just physically, but psychologically and emotionally. Then you get out that cat of nine tails and you're like, why did I eat that? I'm so weak. I'm such an idiot. Why did I do that? Before we reach for the food, we need to really take a look at our emotions and say, what's going on? You know, there is a survival instinct. There is that fight or flight thing where flight or fight, where we think, you know, we have to, maybe a dinosaur is going to get us. But most of us don't have dinosaurs chasing us. So we need to really realize that most of the things we're stressing about, one of Jean's favorite phrases is, this too shall pass. The crisis du jour from last week that you were eating ice cream over is a different crisis du jour than it is today. You know, a lot of us have these cortisol hormones that reach out for those comfort foods, but we've done it again and again and again. When are we ever going to learn? You know? The result is we just feel bad about ourselves. And I don't know about you, but I might not have lost a lot of weight last month, but I feel good about myself. I tried. I worked really hard. My clothes are looser. Maybe it's shifting around. You know, maybe it's not leaving me, but it's moving here, moving there. Don't lose hope. We need to know the difference between physical and emotional hunger. I look at your food logs, and if you just got rid of those snacks. I only eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even during the pandemic, I only ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I do not snack. Snacks are demons, because even if you say, well, I had an apple, that's not what you're having that's getting you in trouble. It's the chips and the ice cream and the candy. Know your triggers. If you know, like when we were watching the Buffalo Bills game, we had no food, we had no beers. It was just Bob and I. We were in our pajamas watching the game. It was awesome. But we didn't need snacks, we didn't need food. Even when we lost, I didn't cry in my beer, I had nothing. I had to go to bed, it was like 3 hours past my bedtime. Also, be around loved ones. A pet. I know people in this group that have gotten a pet and it's been a lifesaver. Eat, but eat smartly. And this is where the cooking comes in. You know, this week we had this bolognese sauce, which is a homemade red sauce with ground turkey and ground pork. And we put it over zucchini noodles. Last week we had the chicken cacciatore on the spaghetti squash, and this week we had the bolognese on the, not every day, You know, we had it on Sunday, and we had it on Tuesday, but we mixed it up. Also, if you feel so out of control, get some counseling. I'm a firm believer in counseling. Nothing's wrong with counseling. And we need to look at our problems and see how we can cope. There's ways to look at problems with a logical mind and look at problems with an emotional mind. So we think, you know, we're under stress about something, and maybe we're late for work every day and we're getting in trouble and the boss is going to write us up, but we just can't seem to get out of bed. Well, do you set your alarm to go to bed earlier? Do you have a backup alarm? Is someone there, like, you know, does your mother call you, get out of bed now, Ellen, time to get up? Are there backups? Is it a priority for you to get to work in time? Those are problem solving. Eating a Pop-Tart and crying on the way to work because you're going to be late is an emotional way of handling it, and you're still going to be late. See what I'm doing here? Also, you get your performance review, and you're surprised that it's not as good as you thought it was going to be. Do you go to your boss and talk about how you can improve your performance and develop a clear plan? Or do you go, most people would go to their boss and say, what are you doing? I'm a perfect employee, you know, or maybe in your mind. Or do you spend your lunch break eating snacks and catastrophizing that you're going to be fired? There's different ways. Your teenage son and daughter won't clean their room. Do you say there will be consequences? If you don't clean your room, you'll be grounded. I'm still your boss. I'm still your mom. You clean that room or there will be consequences. Or do you go take a hot bath and turn the music up and hope you can't hear anything? There's ways of handling situations and there's ways of avoiding situations. Giving a presentation. A lot of people think I just come up here every week and I just do this. I researched the topics. I got specific articles. I even have a song that tries to match. The day before, I read it all through. I underline it. I write little notes on things I'm going to say. I practice. I don't come up here and just wing it. It's all organized. And I do this to benefit myself and the group. I mean, how often would the group come if I'd be like, oh, what do I got here? Oh, well, read amongst yourselves. I don't know what I'm doing up here. You know, you'd be like, whoa, this lady's pretty organized. Or if I started 20 minutes late and tried to keep you here till 8 o'clock, you'd be like, get me out of here. There is order in problem solving. And I think we can relate that to our weight loss journey. We need to find humor in things and try to take care of ourselves. And I'm telling you, I get a pedicure in the winter. People are like, what are you going to pedicure in the winter for? No one sees your feet. I go, I don't get a pedicure for someone to see my feet. I get it because it feels so good. And when she's rubbing my feet, my little voice inside's going, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. It feels so good. I mean it. And then engage in a hobby. You know, I told you how I won that poetry contest. Well, you know, they're going to do a poster, and then they wanted me to write a 2-paragraph narrative on what prompted me to write what I did. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun writing that 2-paragraph narrative. I can't wait for you guys to read it because it's going to have my picture. It's going to have the 2-paragraph narrative, and you're going to say, that's our pray it off leader, Ellen McCauley. All right, so, but I had fun doing it. That's the bottom line. And exercise. You might say, wow, Ellen, you rode over 100 miles on your bike and you didn't lose any weight? That stinks. Well, guess what? Again, my heart's better. There's a person in the group that's 79. She's been in the group for years. She went to her doctor, and the doctor said, man, you're in great shape. Don't you want your doctor to tell you you're in great shape when you're 79? I know I do. That's even more important than the number on the scale. Also, practice mindfulness. Live your life. Know where you're at. Know what's important. I'm going to stop right there, Bobby.